Good evening to those who have joined us tonight. Thanks for tuning in. For those of you who don't know, I'm Tyler, and I've been involved with the management and curational aspect of the exhibition. I'll be one of your nervous but excited MCs for the night. Firstly, we'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we work and live. We recognise their continuing connection to land, water, and community, and wish to pay respects to elders past, present, and emerging. I guess I should say welcome to the new normal as we continue to navigate through virtual live events and meets. Our cohort has recognised we're truly living through one hell of a historical moment. It has been all but smooth sailing for us graduating students of LCI Melbourne during this so-called year. I'm sure we can all agree that our final trimester projects and creative practice have been greatly impacted.
Thanks, Tyler. I agree. I think the new normal is bizarre and at times really difficult to fully comprehend and adjust to. But my name's Samantha Taylor, and I was also part of the curatorial and event management aspect of Unprecedented. So I was assigned of writing the overarching exhibition statement. When I do say assigned, I totally mean self-appointed. It was a truly invigorating process. So despite existing as a motley assortment of visual artists, photographers, graphic and interior designers, the essence of each individual's practice intertwined with others. So key ideology is the stimulation of the immediate environment, which is explored through the notion of going or staying home, but also the inability to commute. Many, if not all, students employed a process of introspection when addressing political, social and autobiographical concerns. Other key principles are aestheticism, sustainable design and practical approaches to problem solving. So each student further developed their understanding of digital technology when implementing their body of work as a result of the widespread shift to a digital presence. So please note as well, if you have any questions to the audience at any given time, just pop open the question and answer box. Pop in your question and we'll be able to address it later on in the presentation.
Absolutely, thanks Sam. It's been wonderful working alongside a collective of creative practitioners that share similar interests and values. Michael Peck, LCI's Creative Programs Director, has been our coordinator throughout the production process of Unprecedented. Honestly, we could not have done this without him. Michael, how have you managed overseeing the Unprecedented showcase through an online platform? What have been the possibilities and sometimes the limitations?
The most exciting thing about this, Tyler, has been that we've been learning together. You know, I think that the best thing that you can do as an educator is you facilitate learning, but it doesn't mean that you always teach everything. You provide an opportunity for people to be able to learn and to be able to take on a challenge. And in this case, the challenge was working out how you guys were going to reinvent the idea of what could be a graduate exhibition. Right from the start, it was like every couple of weeks we had to change the plan, and then we went from plan A to plan B down to about plan E that we're probably at now. But you guys rolled with it really well. Every time that we thought, okay, well, we can't do this now, we've got to do this, you guys worked really well through it. One of the greatest things is that you guys have learned how to use a digital platform instead of the traditional gallery. And in this case, you guys built a website, you worked out how the best way to get your content prepared for that website, and you've also worked out how to present yourselves in something like this right now, which is a online conversation which is taking place, which maybe wouldn't be able to happen in the same way if we were doing it in a gallery. That also opens you guys up to the opportunity of being able to speak to a global community. It opens you up to whole new ways of being able to collaborate on a digital level. And I think that you guys worked incredibly well as a team on it.
Yeah, easy done. And we are your favourite class, we know that anyway. But tell us, what kind of hobbies and what things have you been up to during ISO? What have you been up to keep you inspired and connected?
Well, I mean, teaching's been a great way to stay connected. I think we're lucky in that sense that we get to engage as a community, you know, and between the staff and the students at LCI, we do that really well. But, you know, in terms of the things that I've probably really been able to re-engage with a little bit is to be able to slow down a bit from what I'm normally used to doing, to do things like read a lot more, to you know, grow my veggies in the garden, to cook better food. All those kinds of things have been really great. I mean, we've kind of limited to this 5-kilometre radius of our house, so I'm lucky where I live. There's a million different places to go walking. You know, I did follow the whole trend of learning how to bake sourdough, and I think I'm over that one now. But yeah, it's actually been nice to learn a lot more about the digital world and to engage with some ways of being able to connect with people in different ways. I have to say that teaching you guys in this class, having you guys as a class, has been a really amazing experience, and I'm really proud of you guys as a team. Well done.
Thanks for that, Michael. Hi, I'm Victoria, but everyone calls me Tor. I'm the third portion of the event management and curation team. We have all worked intensively over the past 3 months to bring together and showcase a new design graduate. Now we're going to ask a few participating students questions about their creative practice and the unprecedented showcase. Now we will introduce Sarah ZILBERMAN. Thanks for joining us this evening. Within the virtual classroom, you are often crocheting with vibrant, vivid yarn. Do you find these to be therapeutic while allowing you to remain focused?
Thanks, Tori. I actually made this top that I'm wearing. As someone who has been dealing with attention deficit disorder for years, I've always been told by doctors that a way that would help me concentrate better is to be doing something with my hands. When I was younger, I used to doodle on all of my school books. I would get into a lot of trouble because of it. But this lockdown, I actually found that crocheting was a really good way to deal. So I really have been loving crocheting, and it's been a really good skill to have in the winter.
They're really beautiful. So what a great skill to have. Throughout this somewhat bleak period of isolation, how have you utilised colour within your practice?
I cannot fathom a world without colour. I am truly obsessed. I use it in absolutely every single thing that I do, everything that I make. I put colour on my face. In all of my works, there's really bright colours. The one thing that you'll see is hot pink is my #1 go-to, and I can't live without it.
Thanks, Sarah. We really love to have your bright face in our class every day. Please welcome our next artist, Frankie Napier. Hi, Frankie. During the first wave of COVID, you travelled home to Magnetic Island in Queensland. Did living amongst immediate family hinder or positively influence your creative practice?
Hi. Yeah, it was a very amazing experience to kind of uproot myself from Melbourne so quickly. I just jumped in a car, and before I knew it, I was back home. And yeah, I can't really say if it positively or negatively affected my art, but I think I definitely wouldn't have been able to make it had I not gone home. And I'm very grateful to have spent time with my mum while being back home, for sure.
Yeah, family is really important, especially when creating. Were you able to create work that perhaps would not come to fruition if living in Melbourne?
Yeah, absolutely. Being back in my childhood home was for sure. Oh, I'm getting emotional now. It was very touching, and yeah. Sorry, I didn't think I'd get emotional.
Thank you, Frankie. It is emotional, especially at the moment with everything going on. Okay, so please welcome photography student Sam Gilby. Hi, Sam. When constructing Sick of the World, you taught yourself how to operate Blender, a 3D creation suite. How did you find the process of learning a digital software?
Yeah, in hindsight, trying to teach myself in under 12 weeks how to learn a completely new software was probably a tad bit ambitious of me, but I loved every minute of it. I went from never having opened the software before to being able to create my own little worlds. It definitely kept me entertained during this lockdown. yeah, it's been great. It's opened up a new medium for me. So I can take my photographs and I can now change them into a 3D world. So it just opens up whole new opportunities for me as well.
Sam, your work really speaks for itself. Did the image itself encapsulate Scotland? How have you responded to the inability to travel?
The image itself, that's probably one of my favourite spots in Scotland. Myself, I am always outdoors. I love travelling, and the inability this year to travel has really impacted me. I think I kind of use Blender in a way to create my own worlds and explore them. So yeah, I kind of used it as a bit of a crutch, to be honest.
I think that everyone's missing being able to go to the airport and jump on a plane at the moment, but hopefully that won't be too far away. Thanks for that, Sam. Okay, so thanks for joining us tonight, Maddie Russell. In response to COVID-19 and the stage 4 suburban lockdowns, how have you altered and adapted your photographic practice to overcome arising issues?
Hi, Tori. My series Loopholes was kind of created out of the necessity to shoot solo or with as little kind of human interaction as possible. I wanted to create kind of this space where I could use one shoot with one person and then take that and then have a shoot with my location images and kind of put them together. So I've created this work as kind of my way of finding a loophole, as I would call it, in the restrictions that we had.
I think your work is so creative. Were you able to further develop your understanding of technology due to the current widespread and shift to digital presence?
Yes, definitely. I think it was a lot of understanding how I was actually going to take like 2 totally different shoots and 2 really different concepts into this digital space. And I kind of wanted to pay homage to that really obviously photoshopped aesthetic, you know, with the repetition and kind of the cutouts, and then we've got like the selection tools. So I think that was yeah, quite an important step and quite a big kind of learning curve for me this trimester.
Thanks, Maddie. Your work is incredible. You're welcome. Please give a warm welcome to Maddie White. Maddie, has your immediate environment impacted your creative practice and due to your presence within the sparse Western District?
Yeah, definitely. I moved back from Melbourne at the start of making this work, and since then it's drastically changed the work I've made, hopefully for the better, I guess.
Beautiful. Does your position as both an artist and a photographer influence your exploration of utopia and dystopia?
Thanks, Tori. I think it gives a skewed viewpoint on life and maybe an abstracted view for me. I've defined utopia and dystopia as more of a fluid concept I call the topos. And in my world, although I am more attracted to the dys than the u. One of my favourite locations that I've shot this try was on an abandoned caravan on a friend's farm. It overlooked a cliff and is both so beautiful and tragic at the same time. And I think that reflects the current climate and feeling too of COVID.
Thanks, Maddie. Thanks so much. On to you, Sam.
Big thank you to everyone who's participated in the Unprecedented Artist Talk. So we do have a few questions from the audience. So to Samantha Gilby, where's the first place you're travelling to after ISO is finally over?
I'm probably thinking about travelling around Australia, keep it more central to home. After COVID, I know a lot of places around Australia, especially Melbourne, is going to need tourists and visitors. So yeah, keep it more towards home. Afterwards, around the world, probably Iceland to see the Aurora Borealis.
Yeah, that sounds fantastic. I think we're all in desperate need of a holiday now the trimester's nearly over. But in terms of your photographic series, Minimal Travel, is there somewhere we can, like, are you selling purchasable prints, or are you planning on selling in the future? Like, is there a way to contact you if you were to go about it?
Yes. Selling my prints is in the making. I haven't quite gotten to that point yet, but I have a portfolio on SAMANTHAGILBYphotography.com. Hopefully after all this week's over and all my finals is completed, I'll have the prints up for sale.
Great, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'll definitely be purchasing one. In terms of MADI WHYTE, so I know you utilised a forge when you constructed the sculptural paper clips. Could you kind of just talk us through that, as perhaps some of the audience members aren't sure what a forge is or what it looks like, and just kind of explain the process?
So when I first started trying to make the paper clips, I was trying to make them out of 1-inch Rio, which was used to try and reinforce wind towers. So you can imagine that they're pretty strong, and so to bend them. So my partner and my brother both helped me to try and heat up the paper clips, and we ended up making a big bluestone forge, which is basically now the heart of the work, I think, and I'm excited to maybe use it in the work in the future.
Yeah, beautiful. We're all looking forward to it. And this is kind of just to everyone in the group. We have a question from, so how are these amazing students getting support when they can't get their creative hands on resources at campus? So how did you kind of respond to working from home, not having access to a studio and all the supplies there?
Can I go first?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, sure. For me, I was pretty lucky. My lovely boyfriend drove me down to Half Moon Bay to take pictures, and he kind of helped me carry around my gear so that it could really be like one person just taking the photos, just getting the work done. And I was able to kind of have a really nice time and set that up and kind of take my practice and do it slowly. And then for my film and in studio work, I was actually, it was like just before the lockdown. So I was able to just like sneak in and do my shoot. It was just me and my model, who it was actually in my like coronavirus bubble. Luckily enough, is my neighbor, one of my best friends. So I was able to we were able to do the shoot. I was able to style it, kind of using pieces I had, pieces he had, and then using the equipment that was available to us. So I was really lucky in that sense that I had kind of help from other people, but I also had this like really succinct idea that I wanted to do. So I think that that's kind of how I got around the kind of restrictions. I don't know if anyone else wants to chime in.
Yeah, I must say that Click and Collect has been an absolute lifesaver when it comes to being able to access things that we need. I'm like constantly heading to Bunnings, Officeworks and Spotlight, like literally almost every day, and I literally don't know what I would do without it. Delivery is not the way to go.
Yeah, fantastic. Thanks, everyone. We also have a question for Madeline Russell. So, which artist inspires you, and what are your future plans for your practice?
Okay, that is a very large question. Artists that inspire me, I think I'm kind of interested and invested in photography, so I love a lot of photographers like Jürgen Teller. I love a lot of like contemporary photographers like Wao Yang, Chinese film photographer. I think I was really inspired a lot by the beautiful like analog film look. So I've kind of tried to take from that aspect. And you'll see on the website, I've got some kind of film shots from like behind the scenes as well. And for future practices, I think I want to kind of dive more into analog photography and kind of being more hands-on with my own work. So I want to learn how to process and develop things kind of correctly, and how so that I'm able to kind of control the process and kind of have that intimate knowledge of my practice.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you. I think it all sounds, really great. Just have a question for Frankie. So are you working on anything at the moment? I know you're back in Melbourne. Do you have any kind of current projects on the go, or?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm continuing on for another trimester after this, actually. And for my final series, I'm doing a Polaroid body of work, which is based on people that pass by my front porch. And it's been amazing to just introduce myself to anyone that walks by and to take their photos. And I've met some awesome people and new friends, which has been great.
I think we're all looking forward to seeing how that work develops. And just responding to a few questions in the chat as well in terms of purchasing the art. So once the website gets launched after this chat, there will be links to portfolios and links to social media handles as well, which you'll then be able to contact the artists and purchase directly from them. But please feel free as well that if there's anyone in the audience that have any further questions or want to find out more, don't hesitate to contact the artist. Thanks, Tyler.
Thanks, Sam. Legend. Smashed it. Finally, I'll wrap things up, guys. A big thank you to everyone for tuning in this Friday night. I'm sure you had plenty of other plans that you just had to meet up with. As a cohort, we'd like to thank our Dean, Karen Webster, for her ongoing support through an unpredictable period of time. Michael Peck and Max for their guidance and mentorship, Murray and Lee for their instructional advice in regards to the navigation of teams. We genuinely could not have completed our final trimester without the support from the staff and the board at LCI Melbourne. And just to reiterate, guys, our website is launching tonight. You can view this digital platform by clicking the link supplied in the comments section. And yeah, finally, stay safe and look after yourselves. And yeah, again, thank you for joining in.